Let's have it.
Inside the box, Janino nearly there. Ravanelli, goal! Mark Schwartz is in. Get in! Get in, you big Aussie!
Bridwell, Boston hasn't finished yet. Kick it!
A bullet has struck a stick to the heart of Dracula's boys, and it could be Eindhoven time!
Evening. Welcome to the 12-man podcast. Last one of the season. Live on Facebook, the Reds, on Deezer, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, where all the good places to get your usual podcasts. I'm Steve Jackson. I'm in the main chair as usual. I've been joined by two people this evening. Me sidekick. Evening, coach.
Evening. Are we all right?
We're good. Are you?
All good, pal. All good.
Good. Mr. Jimmy Dalgarno is with us.
How are you doing? All right. I'm staying in the shade, out the way of John's tan. You wouldn't want my pasty white skin next to his. So
I'm so tempted to turn the camera and actually show you how white he is.
I'd love to say it's natural, but I think that's 15 minutes on a sunbed. So.
Pure ginger skin here.
But yes, we've got a full house today. It's great. Mr. John Donovan's back from his 2-week tour of Spain, getting all his summer dates ready for the season before we come back to the football. You all right, JD?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I was hosting the Mercia Reds. We had a bit of a meeting, getting together, a few drinks. Yeah, all good.
There you go. Happy days. It was a good time and good stuff. And up from the further north is Mr. Steve Dixon. Evening, Dicko.
Evening. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Stress-free week with no football. Just watching other teams go through the ringer, and I'm on the beach like the Boro players at the minute. So it's nice just to be chilled out for a change, isn't it? Instead of worrying about the Boro.
We'll be the judge of that if you're chilled out or not.
That's very true. Very, very true. But yes, so we're going to do our own version of our little end of season review and also our end of season awards. We've got 7 categories to go through. We'll go through them one by one. I've got plenty of replies. John, put your phone down. I've got plenty of replies. Loads of stuff to talk about. Loads of opinions. You know, people have been arguing all sorts on mine. It's been great. And then we'll go through each category first. So before I start, obviously the most important question: are we all right?
Cracking.
Good, yeah. Brilliant.
Good.
All good, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good. So just before I bring all the categories up and get everything started, I've asked you, Dally. You're going to talk to us about June the 1st.
Yeah, June the 1st. We've got there's a charity game. It was started being advertised last night on social media. Red Faction v 12th man and fan groups. 11-a-side game. Looking forward to it. Going to the gym later to try and get some form of fitness with 2 weeks to go. I don't know if it's going to do much difference, but no, it's down at the Dormans Club, 3 o'clock kick-off. There's going to be a couple of bands on after, a bit of entertainment, make a bit of a day of it to try and raise as much money as we can for a couple of local charities. It's £10 a ticket if you do want to come down, and like I say, there's going to be quite a few things on to try and raise as much money as we can. So yeah, get yourself down, watch a couple of beer-bellied oldies play football against the Red Faction and get into it.
There you go. And if you want to see me and Josh do our best impressions of Tony Pierce and Dave Kemp, that's worth a giggle for a £10 in itself, to be quite honest. So
Are they bringing flares and flags like?
We're bringing the flags. I think they might bring the flares and smoke bombs.
It'll be a good occasion. Get yourself down in Dormans if you can. It's a decent establishment as well.
Do you know, it's
Nice
brilliant.
cheap
It's brilliant that fan groups coming together. It's brilliant that fans coming together. You know, it was whole season ticket scenario was a bit of a rocky patch, and it's good. You know that everyone's working together for a couple of local charities, for a couple of good causes, and hopefully that kicks on and goes on into the new season.
Absolutely, completely agree with that. So yeah, spot on.
Fair play.
Are the Red Faction wearing masks? Will we be able to watch them? Or
I don't know, mate.
If you're listening, we're only joking, lads. Well, I am anyway. I don't know about Dicko. Now, fair play to everyone who's organised it. Like Dally said, it's all for some local charities. So
exactly,
if you can make it, get yourselves along.
Definitely.
Exactly.
And the social media posts will be out there. You'll find it on. I know I'll send everything over to, for it to be shared. You know, keep an eye on our pages and the Red Faction pages and other fan group pages. And get yourself down and be good to see everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, great cause.
Yeah, just to say, if there's any sort of like lone Boro supporters, people who go to the matches on their own, if it's a great opportunity to come down and just meet like-minded fans, you know, like we all love the same thing. We all love the Boro, and if you find yourself in a situation where you go to the matches on your own and it's a little bit lonely at times, come down, because I assure you, by the end of the day and by the end of the night, you won't be going to matches alone after that. You know, there'll be plenty of people wanting to meet you in the fan zone, have a drink, do whatever, you know. So it's a great opportunity for fans to get together.
Absolutely. And keeping out of the new season, I'm going to do something to get all the lone supporters together as one. So keep an eye on that. JD knows exactly what I'm talking about. So it'd be a good little thing to see on the first home game. It's worth the wait. So right. So I've got 7 categories to go through. I feel like I'm doing the Oscars. It's great. So we've got unsung hero, most improved player, best signing, worst signing, goal of the season, young player of the year, and player of the year. So that's how I'm going to do it. Not because unsung hero is the least important. I just think if you do player of the year, people's just going to switch off straight away. So unsung hero, I've got plenty of shouts here. I've got plenty to start. I'll start with you, Cut. Who is your unsung hero for this season?
Well, he's not unsung to me, and he's certainly not unsung to you lads on the pod, because we've mentioned him constantly since Christmas, I'd say. So I'm going to go Matt Clark, mate. I just think he deserves some kind of recognition, and it's not really an award getting unsung hero off John Cutler, like, to be fair, but I'm sure he'll be happy if he's listening. But yeah, I'm going to go for Matt Clark.
Wins a bottle of his awards, a bottle of your carrot sauce that you put.
He can come and have a couple of Jaegers if he wants.
Yeah, a fake tan session at Brown's Parlour.
I'm not sure where Matt Clark's got the right hair colour and skin tone to take this off, to be fair.
6 minute organs.
Jesus. So yeah, there you go. I could go through the amount of replies. Firstly, thank you so much for getting in touch for all the replies I've had. There's only a couple for Ailing was one, Dieng, Azaz. Someone put Isaiah Jones. I don't think he was unsung. Gilbert was another one. But I think it's going to be pretty unanimous, this one. But I'll go to you, Dally, who's your unsung hero for this season.
I was quite torn on this one, on which way we go with it. You know, I know Ailing has come in, he's got a lot of assists. I think we looked a different team when we didn't have Jones when he got injured against Rotherham. So I'd have to say, for me, I'd have to go Jones, just because of the impact that he had when he wasn't in the team. Could have gone anywhere, could have gone Clark, could have gone maybe Glover for the spell he put in when Dieng was out. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go Jones.
It's not a bad shout, Glover, to be fair. He stepped in when we needed him. John Don, come to you.
Yeah, I mean, he was praised by the boss towards the end of the season, where he started to make a few appearances. But fair play to Alex Gilbert. So I'll call him my unsung hero, because we saw him in pre-season when he was sort of trying to sort of get himself established after the move from Brentford, and it obviously didn't go to plan for him, because he didn't make that many appearances at the start of the season. But he put his head down. By all accounts, he worked very hard. Carrick's gone on record to say so. And towards the end of the season, he was coming on as substitute, making vital contributions, i.e. the assist at Southampton against Leeds, and he finished off the season well, and obviously he got his goal at Cardiff, a fantastic goal, well worked. So for him, young lad, coming up to the north and not really sort of like getting a look in early doors. He knuckled down. He stayed with it, and he won the favour of the manager, which I think says a lot about his character. So I'll say it's him for me, Alex Gilbert.
Fair one. Dick, I'll come to you.
I agree with John Cutler. It was Matt Clark for me. I didn't expect him to produce such a level of performance so consistently. After his injury, when he came back, he had a bit of a nightmare against Leeds, give away a penalty, and from that game, he's been a man mountain. After that game, he's rolled his sleeves up. He's put his head where most people wouldn't. He's cleared every ball. He's been a colossus at the back, and he's been so good that Dale Fry, who obviously divides opinion on here, I don't think Dale Fry is a particular starter next season at the moment. When you look at what we've got in Vandenberg and Clark now, the partnership they've managed to make. But Clark, he's just been superb. Whatever's been asked of him, he's done. And I didn't think he was as good a player as he is, if that makes any sense. When the first few games we're seeing him, then he went out the team injured, and I just think he's been absolutely so good. And he was right up there for player of the season for me, Matt Clark. So credit to him.
Yeah, I mean, my pick's Matt Clark. I mean, I remember it was a couple of years ago. I came out of Coventry with JD, and I said, if in the right formation and the right team, he'll be a good defender. Him. I know he got absolutely ripped to ribbons by Gyökeres that day, but look where he's gone. You know what I mean? He's an absolutely unbelievable superstar. But he came in at Christmas. Obviously, gave away the penalty at Leeds straight away. He was chucked in. But after that, he stuck to his games. He played really well after that. We should have got a point, maybe even 3 from that. And yeah, after Christmas, he was just one of the first names on the team sheet for me. Unbelievable. I'm agreeing with Dicko. He was close for my player of the year. He really was. But and looking at what people have put to us as well, 3/4 of them, they've all said Clark for what he's done. So there you go. First one.
Is it okay if I read a few out from Twitter?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, and Anthony Murray, he's voted for Azaz as his unsung hero. And Dave Silk has voted for Clark. We've got Ian McIntosh, Clark also. Clark for David Gibb and Clark for Stuart Wallace. I know Stuart listens regularly, so cheers, mate. David Ralph, his unsung hero is Senny Dieng. JC has put Finn Azaz. And Iceland, his unsung hero is Yusuf Boro. Now I can't remember what game he played in, but we all know Yusuf. He is a good lad, so yeah, I'll go along with that. Sharon Howells has put herself as the unsung hero. Okay, Shaz, I'm not going to argue with you. Jones for Andy Little, and the Red Army, whose hashtag on Twitter is Housen is my goat, has put Gilbert. So yeah, quite a varied selection, but I think the vast majority go to Matt Clark.
Yeah, the best thing about that Housen is my goat, his picture is Josh Colburn.
I think a couple of people there. A couple of people there mentioned Senny Dieng. I think that's a decent shout as well.
He's had a cracking season. First season.
He's had a few shaky moments, hasn't he? But let's be honest, he's had not a bad season. And if we're going to be pushing for promotion like we all think, hopefully we're going to do next year, I think every one of us, each to a man, would agree that Dieng's going to be good enough for that. So that's definitely a position we don't need a goalkeeper. So he has had a really good season, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, one last one to read. Jason, our regular bus driver, texts us absolutely everywhere.
Was he gone for Dyke Steel?
To be fair, I'm surprised Dicko didn't, be fair. But
it was a close call. He was my second choice.
There you go. He's gone for Matt Clark, but he has given an honourable mention to John Donovan for all the organising he does throughout the season. So someone's got a bit of a brown nose, but there you go.
I like the way JD kept cool and composed there and just nodded his head.
I'm just wondering when you lads are going to realise I've got two profiles on Twitter.
This was directly sent through to me,
Hi.
so hi.
All right, all right. Can't even lie my way out of that one, can I?
God, need to find that profile for the summer. Right, so most improved player. Now this got a varied amount of replies to me, a lot of replies, because of how bad we started. That first 7 games were absolutely horrific. We built ourselves up to be close to promotion rivals, and we fell flat on our face big time. It was horrific. It was horrendous. It could have gone really badly wrong. And Carrick was under pressure as well, massively under pressure. But we came through it, and a lot of players did up the game. A lot of people were criticised on here. Why have we bought him? Why have we bought him? Why is he here? Why have we got him? And they've all slowly but surely proved themselves and said, actually, you know what? He's not too bad. I mean, we'll go into the signings a bit further in a little bit because we've got best and worst signed. But I'll start with you, Kutz. Who is your most improved player of this season?
I've got a bit of a love-in with Matt Clark, so I'm going to say Matt Clark. He's from where he started playing for us to where he is now. I didn't expect him to be at this level. So for me, he's the most improved player and the most surprising package. I'm going Matt Clark again.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be pulling out Cruyff turns, I've got to admit. I mean, when he pulled
40-yard crossfield passes, he's not the player that I thought. He's been absolutely brilliant, so I'm going for him again.
Yeah, I mean, when Matt Clark joined a couple of years ago, he was billed as he's been Player of the Year for his last 3 clubs, and we were all like, "Oh, that sounds good." Obviously, he got injured and disappeared, and I don't know, he became the community officer. I don't know what he did for the other year, but
his performances enough are remarkable,
unbelievable.
But put that in as well, the injury he's had and how long he was out for.
That's the thing. People say, "Oh, it's on you," but that is a really debilitating injury. It's horrible.
And if you're listening, Matt, a signed shirt, we can auction it during the summer. So thanks very much.
I thought you were going to ask for his number there.
I've already got that. I told him about what I was saying tonight.
Wow. Daddy, I'll come to you.
I think I'd have to say, just because the way he came back after watching him for 1 game, Engel, the way, for anyone to come back how he did after the Sheffield Wednesday away game, which was quite possibly up there with KK Sola-esque worst.
Can we bring John Cutler in now?
I'm going to say it was such a bad game he played.
Yeah.
Anything after that, I mean, the next game, once he completed 4 passes, he'd had a far better game and he was a far more improved player. So I'd have to say, just purely for that game, I'd have to say Engel. I think he's had a bit of an up and down season, but I think for me, for that Sheffield Wednesday game onwards, that was some improvement.
I was just about to say, I mean, from then he's steadied himself, hasn't he? And it's like he's gone back to basics, because I don't know who that Chef Wedge right winger was.
Ronaldinho, I think, wasn't it?
He stuck him into next year. It was absolutely horrendous. I remember being at Hillsborough, and he came off, and I just looked and I went, I won't see him again.
Yeah.
I won't see him again. There's no chance.
You say Ronaldinho, Ronald McDonald would have turned him inside out that day.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'd had a chance to turn him inside out. You know what I mean? But it was horrendous.
I was going to go Rodgers, but obviously he's gone. So I looked at players that we've still got.
Yeah, Miss Rodgers, but no, he's been brilliant. He's stepped up so much. Engel. I think the competition that's been behind him as well has probably helped. Bangura improved so much. Thomas came in the last few games of his loan spell, improved so much as well. But yeah, from being on the floor against Chef Wed, there was only one way he was going to go. You know what I mean? So, John Don, I'll come to you.
Lath, he got a bit of stick after his first few games when he sort of like he froze and he missed various one-on-ones, and he was quickly by some written off. But we all know what's happened during the season. He's had injury problems, but he's finished the season absolutely, man possessed. So for the duration of this season, to go from fans on social media, like I say, writing him off and discarding the fact that we paid so much money for him. So him being lauded as a potential 20 goal a season striker next year, I think that's the improvement that I was looking for, and I'll give it to him.
There you go. No problem. To be fair, there's a couple of people that do agree with you and say your mate Iceland agrees that latte laugh is actually, you put Coffee Man, so there you go, he agrees with you. Dicko?
I thought this was quite an easy one, actually. In Dali mentioned it as well. I thought there was only one candidate for me, and it was Morgan Rogers. He had a really indifferent start of the season for us, coming for £1 million. He was playing out of position at the start of the season up front, but you could see there was a player there, but he wasn't a centre forward, and you knew he was a number 10 or a wide player, and it just wasn't happening for him. And for him, in 6 months, to take himself from what he was at Middlesbrough, which was a player that was in and out, didn't really have a fixed down position, to then pick up his game and his form, end his Middlesbrough career with 8 goals, 8 assists in 33 games, move to Aston Villa, which is going to be for eventually, with the add-ons, which he looks like he's going to get now, £15 million, which is massive for Middlesbrough Football Club moving forward into this summer and possibly beyond. And then going to the Premier League, and he's played 11 games for Villa, 3 goals, 1 assist for them already, and there's talk of him on the fringes of an England call-up. Within that short period of time, I think absolutely fantastic, well played. So for me, I don't think he can get, well, I can't remember a player in a Middlesbrough shirt that went from what he was when he first joined the club to within a few months on the verges of an England call-up. I can't remember one. So for me, it has to be Morgan Rogers. And yeah, he's not our player now, but credit to him, and also the money we're going to get from him is going to do Middlesbrough Football Club the world of good this summer.
I said he was good. Right, I'll go through what everybody else has said, because you're actually going to have to split this award between two. The amount of replies I've had: Ian McIntosh, Clark, David Silk, Engel. Scrolling down: JC, Matt Clark, David Ralph, Latte Laugh, Andy Little, Engel, Red Army with Colburn as his picture, not Howson. Clark, Ant Murray. He put Ball Didi. I'm guessing that is Matt Clark. But Rich Mothershill, Clark. So you can tell by the two. I mean, I'm going to go Engel. The amount he improved from that first game I've seen was ridiculous. So the split is just going to go between the two. It's going to go to Lucas Engel and Matt Clark. Didn't expect Matt Clark to be in there, to be quite honest. But I can see why. Because
John loves him.
Yeah. But a lot of people have said Lucas Engel, which is fair enough. So there you go. That one's going to get split between the two. Right. Our worst signing. This could be fun. So we had various signings this summer. Obviously, it was a big revamp. It was a big overhaul for the squad. A lot of players came in. We had a lot of players to replace. There was the amount of players that went out. I'll start with you, Kutch. Who's been your worst signing this season?
Well, Laffy's have just given most improved player. I'm going for Engel. I think he can't defend. I'm not convinced by him at all. People can say he's got better running up and down the pitch or whatever. I still haven't seen him close anyone down, stop a ball going into the box, defend properly, put his body on the line. So that'll do for me. I'm going Engel.
Speaks highly of you, though, John.
Yeah. It's all about opinions. So my opinion is that he's not good enough for us.
I don't think John cares, Dally.
Just says it is.
I'm getting that impression.
Wow.
If you're listening, Lucas, I'll have a signed shirt off you as well. Auction that off. Yeah, I'll go Engel.
Okay. There's a few people that have gone for a different left back on this, but I'll go to you, Dally.
Yeah, I've gone for a different left back. I've gone for Thomas. I've gone for his his replacement through injury. I think I just think massively underwhelmed. Obviously came to the club as an FA Cup winner. Yeah, I'm just a bit underwhelmed. I thought he looked out of his depth in quite a few games.
Yeah.
I thought he looked like our weak link at times. But yeah, I know he was only here for a short space of time, but yeah.
I was just going to say, yeah, massively out of his depth, got absolute pelters from loads of the fans, yet was still picked ahead of Engel for a lot of the end of the season.
Is that to do with a clause, though, in his loan?
I wouldn't have thought so. What, you've got to play him ahead of your own left-back?
No, it might have been a certain amount of games.
Was he not injured? Because I don't remember him being on the bench much, Engel.
I don't know, but...
I think he had some personal problems. He pulled out one of the games late, didn't he?
I'd have proclaimed himself injured. The flares he was wearing.
Leeds at home, I think it was.
That walk round he did. Them trousers. He could have fitted 3 people in them.
Who's that?
Engel, the flares he had on. Wow. I don't know if that's a Scandinavian thing, but they were balls. They were up there with that Barnsley gaffer when he came dressed for the pig iron. John, Don, I'll come to you.
Yeah, Thomas. I expected more of him. He'd come from Leicester. I mean, it was split from Leicester fans. Some were saying he's a great prospect. Others were saying he's gone off the boil. Glad to get shot of him. But I can only talk about his time here, and he was absolutely bang average. He improved slightly last couple of games of the season, but that didn't make up for the amount of poor games he had. So, yeah, I would say Luke Thomas.
Yeah, it's becoming obvious who this is going to, to be quite honest. But Dick, I'll come to you.
I've gone slightly different. I've went for Sammy Silvera, which is probably going to upset Rye.
Yeah, man.
But I have reason for that. When you look into it, he actually played. I know a lot of them were cameo roles and off the bench, but he actually played 42 times for Middlesbrough this season in all competition. He got 42 games he played in all competition. He got 6 goals and 3 assists to his credit. But the reason I'm giving it to Sammy Silvera is I think every single player we've signed this summer over the course of the season got better. And that was because of the injury situation. They got more game time than they would have thought they were going to get when they signed. And I'm on about Vandenberg straight away, Morgan Rogers. Most of them, to be fair. But Silvera, to me, over the course of the season, didn't get any better. He lacks composure. He lacks decision making, and he's had a lot of times this season where he had big opportunities to win games for us or get a late goal for us, and he's fluffed these lines time and time again, and we've mentioned it on here, and he hasn't really learnt. Now, I think there is a talent there, and he can get better, but I think I wouldn't be surprised next season to see him a bit part player or loaned out, because to be at the real top end of the championship, I'm not so sure he's good enough for that. And I hope he proves us wrong, which can happen in football. And he has undoubtedly got a talent. He's got a good strike on him. He's quick. But for me, right from the start of the season, right at the end of the season, he didn't show the improvement as others have done. I mean, even Glover, the goalkeeper who come in, yeah, he made a few mistakes, but credit to him, he seemed to get better as he went on. I just didn't see any improvement in Silvera, which concerned me. So I don't think anybody's been a bad signing, actually, overall, because nobody's been bought for big money, silly money, big wages. So I was a little bit reluctant to put anybody in this category. But if I was pushed, I would say Silvera, just for the reasons I've given.
I mean, a lot of people have mentioned Silvera. There's been a couple of mentions for him. David Gibbs mentioned Silvera. You've got Rich Mothersill, Silvera. A lot of people have mentioned Luke Thomas. Only one person has mentioned who I'm going to mention, and that was Ian McIntosh. Sam Greenwood. Take away that free kick against Leicester. What's he done? Honest question, what's he done?
Well, he has scored a few important goals for, including at Sunderland as well. So to be fair, he did have a purple patch in a Boro shirt where I remember being on this podcast and being asked, would we all sign him for 1.5 million? And I think most of us at the time said, for 1.5 million's peanuts, why not get the deal done? And John Donovan, to give him credit, said, well, why do it now? Why not wait and see how it pans out? And then we can always sign him at the end of the season for 1.5 million. And I think John Donovan, like Middlesbrough Football Club, have been proven right on that one. So I don't think he's been an absolute disaster. However, he has faded badly in the latter end of the season, and that's why we won't be signing him.
I wouldn't say he was an absolute disaster. Yeah, he did score some good goals, and to be fair, against Sunderland, nearly half the team scored against Sunderland. Let's put that right. Which I'll give a mention to later. Oh, what a day that was. But for following that free kick against Leicester, I struggle to count on one hand. But play that again.
What an absolute joke, disgrace.
Up the Boro.
Up the Boro. It's probably the best thing he's done. But he knew what he was doing with that celebration as well. Right,
he was worth signing just for that, let's be honest.
Yeah, but, just for seeing the Mackham lose his head.
But after that goal against Leicester, he did nothing.
I think with Greenwood, I think I said before, I think once we lost Bangura, Lath and Jones, he was expected to do it up front on his own, but there was no pace around him when we went through that stretch where we had a lot of injuries. But yeah.
And then when the players came back in, he had a bit of help around him. Like obviously, Azaz was signed, and Lath came back in. Jones came back from injury. It just looked the spare part. It really did, and I was a bit like, oh.
One thing I'll say that I'm going to stick up for him a little bit. His form after Christmas it did dip an awful lot, considering what he was like before Christmas. I think it was Sunderland away when I think all of us apart from JD said, would you sign him for 1.5 million? I think everyone would have done back then. But one thing I'll say about him, his form might have dropped, but his work rate didn't. He still worked hard for the football club. You couldn't question his commitment. At the end of the day, that's not good enough for us to sign him for next season for hopefully a promotion push. But I will say that for him. I think he still tried to put a shift in. So it's not like he down tools. I don't think it was for want of trying.
Yeah, even last day of the season, against Watford, he had an impact when he had every right just to. You'd have known he was leaving the club then anyway, but he had an impact. He come on and great bit of skill in the box and set up Bangura for the third goal. So yeah, I totally understand why he's been mentioned, but I think it's unkind to say he's had no impact.
I don't think anybody says had no impact. I definitely didn't. He's had an impact, absolutely. He's probably, like you say, he's got a few goals, but I expected more.
Yeah,
I did. I expected a lot more from that kid. But unfortunately, he didn't shine as much as I thought he would, and as much as his turkey teeth did. Unfortunately, so.
Well, the thing is, he's a lone player. Now, a lone player should be wanting the club that he's on loan to, fighting for his signature. And if they are, then that means he's done well. And as you can see from the loan signings we've had, I think our club are only fighting for one man's signature. And it's not Luke Thomas and it's not Sam Greenwood.
No, it's not. But...
Two games of Boro, and he's waving the Boro fans on. This wasn't a Sunderland fan. What an absolute joke, disgrace.
Don't think he'll be joining Sunderland anytime soon, will he? Even though he is a Mackham, but dear me. But so to give
we're not waiting for O'Brien to sign either. That's another one.
No, we're not. Which I'm quite surprised about, to be quite honest.
I don't think that's over yet, mate.
Yeah, I don't either.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's something they might not think it's an immediate priority, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's something that they go back to a little closer.
That's my thinking. They've got someone in mind, right? We've got a target. Let's put him just on the back burner a little bit, and if it doesn't happen, then we know he's got that.
Look at the other side. Nottingham Forest aren't they're safe. We know they're safe, but they might be. looking to cover themselves as well. Could you see Hudson Odoi playing in the Championship if they went down, or the likes of? I know it's a different position, so they would fall back on players like O'Brien. So I think you might be right, Cut, if I'm honest with you.
I think Kieran Scott listened to this podcast, and when I put my glasses on and give the stats out on O'Brien, I think the club had a rethink.
Well, I tell you what, if the future of this club is Kieran Scott listening to you when you have glasses, then we are in trouble, I tell you.
If he can hear glasses being put on, that's an incredible talent.
They could do worse, I tell you.
I'm not too sure whether they could.
I was going to say. We didn't exactly all agree there, but there was a few mentions for Silveira, but the overriding majority was Luke Thomas on that one. I expect, like JD said, I expected more. I say he came here with a lot of reputation. You can see why I didn't get in the Leicester team for a start. Leicester have got incredible talent around that area, but he's never going to kick James Justin out of left back, is he? So, yeah, the worst signing is Luke Thomas, unfortunately. Right, this is going to be the easiest one to give out by an absolute mile. Best signing we've made this season. I'll let you say the name.
Right, before I say man, I'm going to mention Morgan Rogers. Because to make the profit we've made on him and where the club is at the moment, the model of buying players, bringing them on, possibly selling them for a big profit, going down this kind of road, you've got to mention Rogers. But for me, we've got an absolute superstar on our hands at 18-year-old. Hasn't looked out of place in the Championship in a real tough league. I think he's got better and better the more he's played. Captain of the club at 18-year-old, huge recognition from all the fan base. So the best signing for me is going to be Vandenberg.
Maybe he's going to be sharing it. I'll tell you that now. But Dalia, come to you.
I'd go like Lath. I think
that's who you shared it with.
Vandenberg, everything you said there, absolutely. I agree. But when you look at Latte Lath and you look whose shoes he had to step into when he signed for us, we just lost Stuart Akpom, who was it 29 goals he'd scored, got his big move to Ajax, and then all eyes were on Latte Lath to plug that gap. Started off a bit rocky. I know JD touched on it earlier on, but when you look at the run he's gone on at the end and to come out of the season with 18 goals. When up until Cardiff away couldn't finish a one-on-one, he's found if he can hit that groove next season and he can take them one-on-ones into confidence into scoring one-on-ones next season, we could be on for another 25, 30 goal a season striker. But yeah, I would go like that. I think he's done really well.
Yeah, absolutely. JJ, come to you.
Yeah, it's Latte Lath for me. I mean, I always feel as though finding a goal scorer is probably one of the hardest things to do. And his form over the last 15 or so games, if he can continue that into next season, fantastic. He's only 25, is he, or something? But he's got strength. He's got pace. He never ever gives up. He comes back to defend. He likes to give a little bit. I mean, him and the guy from Watford had a right old battle, and Latte Lath wasn't shirking out of anything. I love his from what I see on the pitch. I love his character. I love the way he gets on with his teammates. I think he's been a fantastic signing. So he's my signing of the season.
Well, that's the thing. I know it is going to be split between Vandenberg and Latte Lath, but John Don's absolutely right. When clubs start in the summer, no club looks for that first choice centre half. Every club wants a 15-goal, 20-goal season striker, all of them. And they're very, very difficult to find. Centre halves you can go and find, and 50% of the time you're going to be quite successful. 15, 20... I completely get what you're saying. No, Vandenberg is an absolute diamond, and he will be something we've never seen before in the Boro shirt. But to find a 15, 20 goal season striker is so tough. I think we found one. and we're going to enjoy him until January. So when he gets
to be fair, Steve, I mean, either of them I could have chosen. You know, I couldn't get a Rizzler paper between them because they're both fantastic signings. But I just chose Latte.
Proper T-size. Get a Rizzler paper between them. Did it all come to you?
Yeah, I agree with all the comments. But if not for the first time tonight, I agree with John Cutler. It's got to be Rav Vandenberg. He's now the 19-year-old now. He's captained this football club. He's come in, he's played 39 games in all competition at 18, 19 years of age. He's played at left back, he's played right back, he's played centre back in a 2, centre back in a back 3. And most importantly, his attitude is he loves Middlesbrough Football Club, he loves the fans, he likes being here. You can see on the pitch it hurts him when we lose, which I like. And he's ecstatic when we win, he gets it. And I just think we've got a real top player with a top attitude, and he's done it all season. Latte, as much as I agree with the comments, had a bit of an indifferent start. The talent was there. It's took him a while to build up to get the talent out of him, which was undoubtedly there. It's there now. He's in a great run of form, great streak scoring goals towards the back end of the season, which is fresh in everybody's minds. But let's not forget Rav Vandenberg has been shown quality right from the beginning of the season. So for that reason, I would give it to Vandenberg. And I would also like to mention Johnny Howson, who's played more minutes for this football club than any other player this season. At 35 years of age, and he's well. That's what he keeps. Hey, at least I mentioned him. But anyway, he proves people wrong. That's what he does. He proves people wrong, and I hope he does it again next season, because if he plays 30-odd games next season, I'll be amazed. But yeah, fair play to him. He scored big goals for this season at home to Southampton with his penalty. His goal away when he at Huddersfield, he missed the penalty and got the Port Vale in the cup. Yeah, and he's not only that
away to Chelsea.
Yeah. What is the most impressive part for Howson for me this season was when we were really struggling with injuries around Christmas time and we had few options. He was the leader that dragged me through that. He was the one that kept it together on the pitch. And all around him was failing. He was the constant in that team. He was a proper captain. And yeah, we've all got opinions on Johnny Howson, and long may him continue to prove us wrong.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely love him. I wasn't going to mention him in best signing, I've got to admit. But you're absolutely right. I'll talk about him a little bit later on. Because, yeah, we all wanted him to sign up again, and he has now, thank God, for another year. And long, if you can play another 30, 40 games, wouldn't bother me. My sign of the season is definitely Latte Laugh. Just for the amount of goals he all of a sudden popped up with him. I didn't expect it. When he started his first few games, and he just kept falling over, and I thought, oh no, not another one, please, not another one. But fair play to the kid. He digs in. He's hard working, and his hard work started paying off because the finishes he was producing were ridiculous. But there was split between absolutely everybody that got in touch. Ian McIntosh, Laugh, David Silk, Vandenberg, Neil in France. I'm guessing he's in France. Vandenberg. There's only one person that didn't mention Vandenberg or Laugh, and that was Anth Murray, who put Ayling. And David Ralph, Ayling. There you go, too. He's been... He's not been our best signing, but he's definitely deserves a shout. Because he came in...
For player of the season? Not for me.
No, best signing.
Best signing, this.
No, I'm not having that either.
No. I'm not giving you, mate.
No, I know.
Before you jump on, dear me.
He only finished a couple of assists behind Giles, though, didn't he? In half a season.
Yeah,
he did well.
He came into a position where we had no one. He clearly didn't fancy Dijksteel. Smith was out for the season. Vandenberg was not a right back. He tried, but he wasn't. And
It's too good to be a right back.
Yeah, you could see the way he started games. He started like all of a sudden dropping into the centre, and you thought that's where he wants to be. It's obvious. The better players do that. If you watch the bigger games, they all do it. And Ayling came in and steadied the boat. Obviously, he had a couple of shocking games to start with, but after that, I had no complaints about Luke Ayling. Absolute housery, superb, brilliant. I loved it. And it looks like he'd probably be back here again for another year of exactly the same thing again. So, but I say he's not in the competition of Vandenberg and Latelaff. There's no way. So, this one that will split all of us, I think. Goal of the season. This is a big. I've had about 7-8 different goals given to me online. What's yours?
I'll be surprised if anyone's picked the same one as me. So I'm going for Finn as Preston away.
Oh wow!
Top bins, great composure, knew exactly what he was doing. Quality he's got in his feet. Okay. It was a great finish, so that's what I'm going for. It was beautiful on the eye as well.
Okay, yeah, no one's mentioned Finn as against Preston. I'll give you that. Well, it was a cracking goal. Yeah. It was his first. Was this his first goal for the club as well?
I think it was. Didn't he get 2 in 2 games? I don't know if he got one before that or one straight after, but he got 2 in 2.
Sure. Yeah, it was either his first or second goal for the club, and I thought, wow, now he's arrived.
He knew exactly what he was
doing.
Hell
of a finish.
Great finish.
Dahlia, come to you.
I'm still like debating with myself, but I would have gone Morgan Rogers, but again, he's gone for the goal.
He's got Morgan Rogers. I've had Morgan Rogers against Exeter. Give him to me.
No, I think
Which is a cracker, to be fair.
I'm torn between Force against Sunderland at home.
Oh, yes.
For the touch and then the volley. And Riley McGree away at Birmingham.
That's been mentioned a couple of times.
And I nearly lost shin bones and all sorts when Greenwood scored that free kick against Leicester. But I'll have to go Force because it was against the Mackhams and it was a hell of a goal.
Oh, unbelievable finish.
Yeah,
unbelievable finish.
Really top draw goal.
That was the day where there was people that said, you know, he's not quite a striker. He's not quite a he's been between the positions. That goal right there proved to me he's a striker.
Yeah.
There was no thinking about it. He just went touch, bang, there you go, done. Shrug it off. Unbelievable finish. John Donner, come to you.
He's gone.
I know what he's thinking.
No, I haven't. I know, yeah. Smirk. Well, mine was Alex Gilbert against Cardiff. I think it was a brilliant team move, a patient build-up, good passing, and then a really cool finish. You know, from a lad who was making his first team debut, I think, wasn't he, Gilbert, that game?
Yes, he was.
First championship game.
Yeah.
Debut. I just thought that was a great goal. You've mentioned some, you know, obviously Greenwood's free kick. I thought Latelaff's against QPR, the improvisation out on the edge of the box. QPR away was a great finish. Force against Sunderland, yeah, all good shouts, but I quite liked Gilbert's goal against Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean, this one won't get a mention. But Force's header against QPR, that was a cracking header as well. Yeah. Begovic is 6'4", 6'5", and he looped him. Hell of a finish. I say that was a cracking header as well. But
I think there's a few goals you can whack in there. The goal at Holloway was outstanding.
Oh my God! What a goal!
And for me, that finish by Latelaff against Leeds, the header. Instant great finish.
Latelaff away from home Leeds. That was a great finish, cut inside and absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, put Melier back.
Yeah, absolutely great.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Probably stole Dicko's thunder right now, naming all these goals, haven't we?
Yeah, I can't fault you. All the goals you've mentioned are the ones that I would have had in my brain as well. All worthy winners, in my opinion. But mine was, Cuts alluded to it just before there, funny enough, was Azaz at Hull. That was just the type of goal I love as a fan, when you see a team break quickly with pace, quick passing between Azaz and Isaiah Jones after, I think it was Vandenberg won the ball, and they just absolutely split Hull wide open, quick. And it was a proper, like a Premiership goal, you know, or a FIFA goal. And that was the goal that gave me the most joy this season. And it was, at the time, it felt a big goal in that game as well. So yeah, I would go with Zaz at Hull.
It was good.
Yeah, they absolutely roasted Giles on that occasion, didn't they?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
they
going
did.
to say that's what added to it, isn't it?
That was great, wasn't it?
First time we attacked Giles, and
Mm.
he was nowhere to be seen.
He scored some really good goals, to be fair, this season.
Yeah, well, we have. I think that's down to the football that Michael Carrick's put in place as well, to give the lads the freedom. I know it's caused a lot of problems at the back at times, and we can argue until we're blue in the face of, is it the keeper's fault? Is it his fault? Is it his fault? But the goals we produce now are absolutely top notch, and you talk about them for years to come. Mine was Alex Gilbert against Cardiff. I was so close to saying Force against Sunderland, the reaction and the finish, but the build-up for the goal against Cardiff was ridiculous. One touch passing inside and then out to Ealing, squared it, and you could tell Ealing had his arms up before the ball went in the net. He was just like, that's in. As soon as he hit it, you just thought, wow.
Ealing doing the fjord off after.
He loved it, didn't he?
I'm surprised you never went for Matt Clark against Cardiff.
He was definitely up there.
And as I say, lots of people have mentioned Riley McGree against Birmingham, Latte Laff against Leeds. Obviously, Sam Greenwood. Sam Greenwood got the club's goal of the season last Thursday. But because I mentioned it there, Alex Gilbert gets goal of the season against Cardiff. It was the last one. So a fair few mentioned it, and fair play as well. But like you have all said, the goals we've scored this year, it'll make a good DVD one day. Definitely, it's exciting as well for what we can produce next season. So, right.
Do people still buy DVDs?
I have no idea, mate.
We sound like Tottenham here. They make DVDs for finishing nowhere and winning nothing.
Tottenham, the team that are going to be sporting Manchester City tomorrow night when they're playing them. That team's embarrassing. That says it all for me. Evening, Dad. Right, I'll go on to the main ones now. To be fair, these two could get covered in one, but I'll go one by one. Young player of the season. If we all go different on this, there's something wrong. There's something really wrong. Without discounting the other ones that have come through, let's say Law McCabe came through this season. Hayden Hackney in the games he played had a cracking season. There's been lots of young players that have come through. AJ Matthews, Charlie Lennon. We've got another conveyor belt of talent coming back through again, which is amazing. But start.
Yeah, young player of the season. I think we're all going to say exactly the same thing, aren't we? It's Johnny Howson straight away for me.
Superb.
Yeah, obviously Vandenberg. I can't wax and lyrical about him. I can't praise him highly enough. And like you said, we found an absolute gem. Not only for this football club, he's going to go on and play a lot of games at a really high level.
Yeah.
So
we've over the years we've bought in players that have turned out to be a brilliant player for the Premier League or whatever. I think we've actually bought a superstar.
We beat off a load of... Kieran said when he came on earlier this season, he named some of the clubs that were in for Vandenberg. Because you read it in the papers and you're like, yeah, there's no way he would come here instead of going to Milan. I know we would, but you wouldn't think...
Juve, Gothenburg.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to mention Juve and Gothenburg.
Dortmund as well, wasn't it? I think he mentioned, you know what I mean? And he actually got on the phone to his agent and told his agent this is the place he wanted to come. Yep. For me, he's been outstanding.
For him to pick the phone up as well and tell him all himself.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, but no thank you. I know where I'm going.
He's a real class act. I agree. A few years mentioned it earlier. He's not a right back. He's never going to be a right back. But as a centre half, he's going to be a superstar for the. I hope we get to see him for a lot of years because we are going to see him develop into an absolute animal.
He's got his own personal range in pajamas as well. Don't forget.
Hopefully, they'll be coming next year.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But
he's. We've had some great Dutch players over the years, haven't we? When you think about it. Heine Otto way back. We've had Zenden, Boateng, Hasselbank.
Michael Reisiger.
Truly some great Dutch players that we've played for us.
They've got a good mentality, haven't they, in general? The Dutch and the Germans, they have a good mentality, and you can see he's got an old dead head on his shoulders than an 18-year-old.
Well, he said that at the Player of the Year awards because Gary Phillips asked him about how the academies compare to over here.
Yeah.
And they press straight into the hard work and the pressing you've got to do. Because realistically, in Holland, there's only, 3 clubs that you really want to play for, like really want to play for. Ajax, PSV, Feyenoord. Apart from that, he said that the difference between them and the rest is life. It's a lifetime away. So he said to come over here and come to our academy and see that is amazing. He said it's amazing. He loves it.
I heard Dicko say earlier about that he doesn't like to lose. And I remember his reaction when Plymouth beat us 2-0. He was just stood. He has that bandage on his hand, and he was like ripping it off. He was absolutely disgusted. I don't know whether it was with himself or frustration or what, but it really meant something to him, which is brilliant. Great to see. I love that attitude, a desire to win every game, everything you do. I love that attitude.
Yeah, I remember that, because a lot of players like sulked off and went back into the changing room because it wasn't the greatest of days. It was quite a wet and miserable day, but he stood there and he really took it to heart. He was absolutely fuming. Like you said, I don't know if it was his personal performance or the team itself, but he was not happy. And I thought, for someone at 18-year-old to stand there and think that, where you could easily just gone, they've got to get changed now and go home. You know what I mean? His attitude's amazing, unbelievable. But Dali, are you going for anybody different?
Nah. Well, Vandenberg.
It's a pretty easy one, this one, isn't it? Yeah. Dicko, are you going to go any different?
No. Save your time and your energy. It's Rav Vandenberg.
It's very, very considerate, thank you. But yeah, I could go through all of these, all the people that have got in touch with us, every single one of us.
I was going to say, was there anybody who got anything else?
No. I've just had a quick look through there, and not one person's gone different. But that's why I thought I'd give a little bit of a mention to the academy players that have come through this year. I say, Law McCabe, Charlie Lennon, AJ Matthews, countless others. Hayden Hackney, who's going to go on to something different by the sounds of it. I hope he doesn't, but fantastic players and fair play to them. But this one will divide us. Player of the year. It divided. I remember when they gave Vandenberg at the awards last week. That divided a lot of people there because there was a lot of good players up for it. It was even funnier because Latte Laugh thought he'd won it, and he got a few slaps from Bangura and Dykesteel and that, which was really funny because I think he had a little speech prepared and everything. But poor guy. So I'll start with you, Kutch. Who is your player of the season?
So for player of the season, I think you've got to be consistent pretty much all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the only 2 players in this squad who've been consistent the whole way through at a really good level is Johnny Howson and Vandenberg. Okay. And I don't think it's going to be any surprise that I'm going to say for the full season, it's going to be Vandenberg again for me.
I mean, I'll admit there was a couple of games I was a bit, I don't know about Vandenberg. I'll hold my hand up. But that was because he was a right back. He just looked out of place and he didn't look at all that player, but we now know why. So he just slotted him inside, so that was him. Different level. No striker could cope with him in this league, but Vandenberg.
Like I say, for me, I would have put Clark in there as well, obviously. But it's
been
more so since December, so I try and base it from someone for the full season for me.
He's got to mention a few times, Clark, definitely, and rightfully so as well, because he's been brilliant. Dali, I'll come to you. I'm
going to go Johnny Howson. I think you say for consistency, but the difference in the team when he's not played has been massively evident, and when he comes back in, he just gives us that composure. I think he'll play anywhere. He's played games at centre back. Anytime you start writing him off, he just seems to drop a gear and go again and emerge and reinvent himself as such. But I think we're a far better team with Johnny Howson in the starting 11.
I think you can look at his performances, in his consistency, in his work rate, in his attitude. And then on top of all of that, you can add in what a lovely fellow he is. When we had him on the pod, what a delight he was to have on this show. He was fantastic. Not that he deserves Player of the Year because he's a fantastic fella, but That's another plus point. I don't hear anyone have bad words to say about Howson at all in this football club. In the fan base, none.
Just Norwich.
He's a top guy. Top guy.
Good old Norwich. JJ, I'll come to you.
Yeah, Johnny Howson. Yeah. Yeah, he's cracking on. He's 35. He'll know his own body.
Cracking on.
He's very professional. He knows how to look after himself, and I'm really pleased he's signed that extended contract end of the year. So, yeah, Rav Vandenberg, obviously, very, very good player, but he's got the Young Player of the Year award. So the Player of the Year for me is John Howson.
Okay. Dicko, over to you.
Same as what you were saying, basically. Latiolath's got to be in the equation because of all the goals he's scored, but hasn't done it all season as much as Johnny Howson has and Rav Vandenberg. So, not for the first time tonight, I'm agreeing with John Cutler again. I'm going with Rav Vandenberg.
Tell you what, we need to get you two with a bit of George
Get a room.
Careless Whisper on, don't we? We need to get you two and Matt Clark.
Yeah, I've always waxed lyrical. Dicko always talks sense. I've always said it.
Love is in the air.
Satan Greavesy strike
Everywhere
again.
I look around.
Kurt is in the air.
There you go, Dicko.
There you are.
That killed everything, didn't it? A little blood of a kiss.
Up the tan.
It wasn't always like this. We've had with Tiffs as well.
We have indeed.
Season must be over.
Yeah, tell him. I've gone Johnny Howson. I thought Howson was... I'm a bit like John Don. Vandenberg got Young Player of the Year. Yeah. I should always think, you shouldn't... Fair enough, if you're an unbelievable talent, you should get both. But I just think, for fairness, give it to... He won by one vote. Johnny Howson. I've just sat and tallied them all up. Yeah, I
can't argue with that. To be fair, even though I went for Vandenberg,
yeah,
can't argue with it.
Yeah, Jason's vote won Howson Player of the Year, so it was pretty even. I wrote him Jason's message, and Johnny Howson got Player of the Year. So yeah, there you go. Player of the season for us was
he wins a set of new bingo dabbers.
He does, and a big bag of Haribo.
6 minutes of John Cutler's tanning.
Johnny Howson.
Fantastic.
Johnny Howson's good looking enough. He doesn't need anything fake.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll come back next season look like Madjoff Benidorm.
Oh, dear me. So before
same age, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
One of them white pasties.
Get your shades on, ladies and gentlemen.
If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, yes, that is how white his legs are. So that's our awards done. So obviously there's two questions I'm going to ask all of you. This bit's for us now. Your memory of the season, like your outstanding memory of the season. I know we've all got good ones, we've all got bad ones. I'll keep away from the bad ones. Your outstanding good memory of the season and your overall verdict on how our season has gone. So I'll start with you, Cuts. Just the first question first.
The outstanding memory, Sunderland away. It's biggest game on the calendar for me. Mm-hmm. Every year, home and away, Sunderland. What a day. I'll take that with me till the day I die. It was fantastic. Singing for 90 minutes, them storming out the stadium. Went from 46,000 to about 2,500 in no time after half time. Brilliant. Loved every minute of it.
And 2,200 of them were us.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Exactly. It was fantastic. What a day that was.
It's a joke.
It was a disgrace. There was a few things in that game. I know you won't like it, but Crooks doing the Shearer celebration.
Oh, it was brilliant, man.
Forcing the corner. It was brilliant. The players knew exactly what that meant to us, and the stand was bouncing. It was brilliant.
Best part of all that was when you watch the highlights back, was Tommy Smith playing dad. Get away now, get away, get over there now.
That was brilliant.
Get away. he drags Jones away, especially when Jones did the shush to the whatever that stand is.
Yeah.
Behind the
Mackham stand, yeah.
Yeah, he loved it. The camera right in his face. Best part though was like Smith and McNair dragged Jones away because I think it was on the yellow. And Hackney just walked past and went, yeah, whatever, and just stood and did it himself for a good couple of minutes. Even the linesman went, you go back over there now. They knew at that point it was game over. Yeah. There was no way coming back. We absolutely, within 15 minutes, tore them to bits.
It was amazing.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's my memory of the season. I'm not even going to try and go for anything else. It was unbelievable. I loved every minute of it. Dario, come to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was summer weekend, wasn't it? Probably the best away day I've done. Start to finish, fantastic day. Yeah. Unreal. I think that's got to be my highlight away. I think at home, can't get past that Chelsea game. You know, the atmosphere before the game.
Everything.
You know, but when, you know, Hackney scored, it just gave you that belief that, hang on, you know, this team have got, you know, players on 8-year contracts, spend billions of pounds. We've got a rotten record against them, you know, in cups.
Yeah.
And it gave you that bit of belief. Yeah. It was a bit of a
bit
of a letdown. The highs and lows of football. You know, I think if we hadn't got the injuries that we'd had, you know, we went at that game very, very depleted. That second leg, but it was the hope that kills you.
I think the injury with Jones killed that for me. If you kept Jones, then that solid five at the back would have stayed exactly as it was.
We lost Lathan and Bangaroo within 15 minutes of the game, and you know we still managed to pluck a win. But then you know it was once Jones has gone, that pace has gone. I touched on Greenwood earlier on, and I think he was cup tied anyway. But you look at the dynamic of the team. Going into the
it was left for Crooks and Colburn to do the job up front, and wasn't Rodgers, it? And they just couldn't.
With Jews in a moment, anyway, it doesn't matter. It sounds me wrong this saying the second leg doesn't matter, but for the elation and the excitement in the stadium, and what all of us felt that night, at that time, no one can ever take that away from us.
Summed up fantastically by Bandy's, you know, Bandy's picture.
Yes,
that he's
absolutely.
done with the Red Factions display, and we had the scarves out, and it was some
which somebody bought, which was me. For that very reason, I thought there was such a special night against Chelsea, one of the greatest that the Riverside's ever seen, and Graham Bandera done that fantastic piece of artwork, which really captured the night from the North Stand. And so I went into the old the tins and got me coppers, me pennies out, and I've actually bought the original artwork of that picture for that very reason. I think it's a fantastic piece of work, and it just summed the night up perfectly. And that was hands down for me, even though it was great being at Sunderland and beating Sunderland, to beat Chelsea under them circumstances with the injury problems in the semi-final, for me was the hands down moment of the season.
And that just shows all the protesting and striking they did, that pay rise they got paid off.
Correct.
He's bought for that. But what a night that was. I just remember being stood there full time. Like, the whole stadium was bouncing. I just stood there and I just went, it's not real, this. It didn't feel real.
The chances of miss was unreal. And you start to get that feeling, don't you? You're like, we're pulling something off here.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be the lowest ranked team in the competition and beating, beating Chelsea at home was it was one that you won't forget.
Something else, but the thing is, the second half, they didn't really have a chance, did they? It was all the first half. Cole Palmer missed a hat-trick of chances that any other day, I mean, look at the goals he scored now, 22 goals he scored this season. You know, he's not gonna miss them chances much, and he missed 3 in the night, and I just felt at that point, if we're going to beat them, this is it. This is our moment, and we did. Unbelievable night. John Don, your moment of the season?
Yeah, Chelsea at home, brilliant. Build up to it, you know, all the fans getting involved, fan groups urging all the fans in the stadium get involved in creating the atmosphere with the scarves in 3 parts of the ground and the display in the south stand, and it just made a special night at the Riverside. You know, we've had a few, but it was one where we all turned up as fans. We played our part. We were right up against it. You know, I mean, we shouldn't really have had a chance with the team that we started. You know, because of our injuries, and then we got injuries early on. We really shouldn't have come away with a win. But when Hackney's score went in, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. You know, I love watching it again. So that was standout for me. Brilliant. I love a good atmosphere. I love the ground, getting behind the team, showing the love for the team, and that was a special night.
Well, we all sit here and say there's nothing that beats the Riverside under the lights. That absolutely defined it. Under the lights, cold Tuesday night, and I've heard the season go off many times, but I haven't seen it like that in many years. Many years. It was special night for the club. It was just class. Every minute of it. We were all up in the North Stand, absolutely bouncing. The place was just amazing. Yeah, second leg didn't happen, so there. Don't want to talk about that. I mean, I didn't see half it anyway, so. But yeah, so yeah, our verdict for the season. Then I'll start with you, Coach. Your verdict on our season. You know what you expected to what we got.
I'm going to say disappointing. Now, I don't mean as a whole, but from what I expected at the start of the season, I expected us to make the playoffs. I can remember Dicko saying we needed to bring players in earlier, and Dicko's been proven right. So ultimately, disappointing, but I'll counter that with we have got a lot of promise going forward with some of the players we've brought in. But ultimately, for where we finished outside of the playoffs, I'll say disappointing.
I'll counter again on that bit when I come to what I say. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, we should have got the playoffs. We should have. Dali, I'll come to you.
Frustrating is probably the overall feeling, isn't it? I think you know when you look at when you take a step back and look at it, we finished 6 points off where we did the season before,
which is incredible.
But you look at it was that run of injuries. You know the start didn't help us, but that run of injuries that we had, you know, Bangura, Lath, Howson. God, at one point, Matt Clark was the only fit defender that we had going into a game, and you were thinking, Christ, what are they training on? You know, are they training in the car park rather than on the training for on the grass?
I forgot the crap.
And I think you know the fact that even with that injury period and that run we went on at the end, we weren't a million miles away.
No, we weren't.
You know, maybe it's a striker away, and you know, a striker or two, another player away in the January transfer window from getting into the playoffs.
Well, that's it. I mean, the top four were away and gone, and that showed in the final play. They were away and gone. You know, three of them, two of them finished on 90 plus points. One finished just under 90 points, and the other one finished, I think, it was only 4 points behind. And they were a mile clear of the rest. So, but them two places, fifth and sixth, were there to be had. They were there to be had because even them two clubs didn't want them. There was times where they started wobbling and shaking, and West Bromwich just got over the line. Last few games of the season, but yeah,
I think frustration. I think it's completely summed up by 2 games against Rotherham away from
yeah,
you know, different results there. We could have been playing Leeds or.
That's it. Like I said last week, didn't I? Like, you know, we could say all this and that and the other about that. You know what's happened to us this season, but if you can't beat Rotherham and Plymouth, but Plymouth hadn't won an away game in a year. They came here and absolutely walked around us. Yeah. And it looked bad at times. It looked really bad. You know, it's them type of games. If you can't win them games, you are struggling. But yeah, John, I'll come to you.
Yeah, we can all do the post-mortem of the season, and we can blame our poor start. We can blame not signing anybody in January. But to me, it's the injuries. It didn't just hamper part of the season; it hampered the whole of the season. You know, we lost key men in every department. Yeah. We lost Lath for long spells. Force, McGree, and then in midfield we lost Hackney also, Lenahan. It was key positions, and I just think if we'd have had maybe half of those players available, then we would have picked up the extra 4, 5, 6 points that we needed. It's all purely hypothetical. I fully understand, but people are going to go on about our poor start. Well, do you know what? We recovered from that, and we weren't that far away. And I think if we'd have had a stronger squad, a more available squad, a greater number of players available, we would have picked up the extra points. That's just my opinion. I know people. I know Dicko's going to say about signing a striker in January. I honestly didn't think that was a massive priority. It was just unfortunate that Lath and Force, we lost them for long spells of the season. But like I said, overall, a season full of promise for me. I'm disappointed we didn't make the playoffs, but I've got so much to look forward to now next season, because I know there'll be some good players coming in, and I know we've got players who've got a year's championship experience under the belt, and we'll be a far stronger outfit next year. I just hope we're a bit more fortunate with the injury situation.
Absolutely spot on.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. I'll give my little explanation of things in a minute, but I'll let Dicko have the floor now.
Well, I think I've went through the full emotions this season from start to finish, from disappointment, from lack of ambition, to encouragement, to feeling positive about next season. I disagree with John Donne when he said that we recovered from the bad start, because ultimately we didn't recover from the bad start, because we finished outside the playoffs. So I think you're wrong on that. However, if you look at the season in a whole, I started off in where I said the signings for me after the back of a great season last season were a little bit meh. They were a little bit who are we signing here? What's going on? These are going to take a long time to settle. And my ambition as a supporter for Middlesbrough Football Club, which I think is a big football club, is to get promotion. I'm sick of Middlesbrough settling for making the playoffs as a success. I think Middlesbrough at the start of every season should be going for the top 2, not the top 6. And I think Middlesbrough Football Club made a calculated assessment of where they were financially, what they were going to do regarding recruitment. And this season that we've just had, they went, if we can make the playoffs, it'll be a success. And that's what they targeted for. And it nearly paid off. What let them down, unfortunately, is what you guys have said, was A, the poor start because it didn't get the business done quick enough. And secondly, the injury crisis, which absolutely killed them. And I said at the start of the season, I thought this squad could finish 6th. That was my prediction. And I still think Middlesbrough would have finished 6th had it not been for the horrific injury crisis that we had. So I think they would have actually made the target as a club, and they would have been very happy with that target as a club. Now, if you look at it as a whole, they've done well, actually, because over the course of the season, because of the injuries, lots of these players who've brought in have had a chance to play more game time and develop. And we've now actually got a lot of good players on our hands with sell-on value. We're rocking into next season now with the Morgan Rogers money on the back of only losing 1 out of the last 12 games. And suddenly it all looks rosy again. So I'm massively now optimistic about next season, like I was at the beginning of last season. But the difference is we know now we do have a bit more finance. We do have some quality players at the club. And if Gibbo really, really wants to get to the Premier League, he's got a big opportunity this summer, because the teams that are coming down from the Premier League aren't what the teams that come down last season. And the teams that are going up are probably going to do a favour. And I think next season, we really, 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 as a football club, need to be targeting that top 2. Never mind the playoffs. The playoffs are a lottery. You can come 3rd, you can come 4th, and it means nothing. You've got to target next season. Middlesbrough Football Club is a huge opportunity to go for them top 2 spaces. So, on a whole, I would say the seasons went right through from lack of ambition to disappointment to injury crisis to, again, in January not signing the striker, which might have made the difference, to actually ending the season on a high. On a high. So I would give this season a 7.5 out of 10. going into the summer, we are in a prime position for promotion, in my opinion.
We think pig bag starting for the next season.
I'm actually.
Hey,
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you said there, Dick, that I agree with.
You're telling me there's a lot of things he said there.
But one thing I am surprised about. I'm surprised that he gave as high as 7.5 out of 10. I am honestly
only because of the injury crisis.
Yeah,
I think you've got to give credit to Michael Carrick with the injury crisis he had and the cup run we had and the games were played. But ultimately, like you said, John Cutler, it's disappointing because we've got big ambitions as supporters, and we deserve to be in the Premier League. Well, who deserves to be in the Premier League? We deserve to be striving to be in the Premier League. And if we finish outside the top 6, let's be honest, it's disappointing for this football club. Yeah. But the season's ended on a high. We're good form. We've got lots of potential with the players we've developed over the course of the season. We've got some money to spend in the summer, and I think there's lots of things to be positive about going into the summer. But let's not hide from the fact it's been a real big learning curve this season. But I think the club knew that all along, right from the word go.
I think that's what the club was aiming for. This was kind of, if we get there, happy days. If not, we've got something to build on. And to mention the end of the season as well, over the last few seasons, we haven't ended seasons well at all. Obviously, playoff heartache last season. Season before, we just missed out on the playoffs. Season before that, we didn't finish well at all. We started where Warnock was still starting to wobble a little bit, because we were getting towards there and it really backed off. So this season, we finished really well. But like you lads have said, if you were ignoring our injury crisis and saying that that doesn't matter, it did. Remember going to Port Vale and we lost 5 players. 5 players in the space of a game. I've never seen that before. I've never seen 2 players come on and both go off because they were injured again. I thought, where's that coming? Because I think someone can correct me on this one. I'm pretty sure Jones and Bangura both came on because they had to, and they both went off because they were crocked again. I've never ever seen that before. And the peak of it was 19 players out injured. That is, if you add, 5 more players on, that's how many England are taking to the Euros in the summer. That's a squad.
I mean, I think everyone has mentioned it. It's not like they were bit part players. For me, at the start of the season, if I had put my neck on the line, I would have said Lenihan was our number 1 choice centre half. All right, throughout the season now with the emergence of Van den Berg, he's maybe not. But so we lost our number 1 centre half for the bulk of the season. Yeah. Hayden Hackney missing for months and months. Lath, we know what he can do. I'll still say this: if Lath had been fit for the full season, I think we'd have made the playoffs. I do. There weren't bit part players that were out injured. There were real important players that we were missing for months and months.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Exactly. Yeah, McGree. Some people love him. Some people aren't too keen.
3/4 of the season, he was gone.
But for me, he's good enough to play in a team that gets promoted next season. Not just promoted through the playoffs. Top 2 quality. In my opinion, he's good enough for that.
Yeah, and
it may prove to be proven, correctly, the decision not to sign a striker in January, which now looks a good decision because financially we're pushing. However, I still say, and I'll stick to my guns, if we had signed a decent striker in January, we would have still made the playoffs. We would have made that difference of points up. We went too long playing people like Sammy Silvera and Greenwood up front. If we'd had a proper number 9, even if he wasn't as good as what Latte Lath is, a decent number 9 for them 10, 12 games, I think we would have made enough points up to have made the playoffs this season. So, but the club's got the reasons why they didn't, and I think they've looked at who's potentially we're going to play in the playoffs, whether it be a Leeds or a Southampton or what have you, and just thought, no, keep the powder dry because we're going to have a go this summer. And I'm hoping it's going to be a go for the top 2 this summer.
I think when Kieran came on, he answered that question brilliantly for me. We've spent millions and millions of pounds on strikers going back down the years, where and although he didn't name names, we knew who he was talking about. There was Fletcher for £7 million, Sombolonga £15 million, and he sort of said we could have went out to appease fans, and fans are happy with signings. We would have trusted them, brought somebody in for, say, I don't know, even if you say £5 million, it's a lot of money at this football club at the moment, for somebody who maybe wouldn't have been part of the plans this year and still miss out on the playoffs. I just think, in hindsight, hopefully we're talking about the same thing next year, that the best thing this club did this year is not sign one of them strikers in that January transfer window, and we bring in players that are really wanted at this football club, who can really improve us and take us to the level where we all want to be, which is top 2 and getting promoted and playing football again in the Premier League.
Time
will tell.
Hull pressed the panic button cuts, didn't they?
Exactly.
And I think Hull City will be regretting that now.
And that's something else Kieran alluded to when he was on. He didn't have a clue where all their money had come from. The Giles signing was all set in stone and all of that. So I don't want my football club to do that, where they're going to put us at risk for the next 5 or 6 years where you're recovering. That's why I said I'm ending the season positive, because we know we've got a decent squad, and if we've all said if we had a few players, we could have a real good season next year. So let's hope. So I'm positive for next season, like I'm sure you lads are.
Well said, and I'm agreeing with you again.
Exactly. It's,
wow. Get your lighters out, everyone. Get your lighters out.
Your phone lighters out.
And if you want a bit of encouragement as well, I know all the money that's coming down from the Premier League. Just watch what Ipswich did this season. Didn't have all the money all these clubs had.
What a story!
But the money comes down and then everything goes up.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's but Ipswich didn't have the money that the three around them did.
Fantastic team spirit, though, didn't it?
And that's exactly what they had.
Why did Maresca get manager of the season then for the championship?
Wrong.
That was wrong. That was totally wrong.
Kieran McKenna was
it should have been. Yeah, it should have been. It should have been McKenna. He worked with a smaller squad, in a tighter financial situation. Yeah, of course he should have. For me,
he worked
manager of the season.
Exactly, he worked the loan market so perfectly well as well. He brought in 3 brilliant loan players in Kiefer Moore. He knew he needed a striker, and he went, right, I'm going to go and get someone that's going to score me 5-6 goals. Mari Hutchinson from Chelsea, who was an absolute revelation, youngster, and Sammy Ento from Brighton, who fitted in so well, and all 3 of them did an incredible job. And they stuck with 75% of their squad from League One, and said, we're going to go again, we're just going to put a little bit of addition to you, and we're going to go have a right good go at this.
It's what football's all about. It's a fairy tale. Nobody outside of Ipswich fans, and probably even honest Ipswich fans, would not have given them a chance of getting promoted. It's what football's all about, and it's why we love it so much. So
it was a cop out just to give the manager of the season to the champions. Ridiculous.
Exactly. It's the same reason in the Premier League. They probably give Pep the manager of the season in the Premier League, but you've got to look at Unai Emery and the job he's done at Villa. Bringing Villa from mid-table to 4th is ridiculous, to be quite honest. To mix it with all the big boys, so fair play. But yeah, it's Kieran McKenna's an absolutely unbelievable manager, and he won't be at Ipswich for long. I will say that comfortably as well. He's destined for bigger and better things. But right, I'll leave it there. That's us done. Finished for the season. Why are you grinning? Are you happy it's over?
He's talking to you, John. Yeah, he's talking to you.
No, I was just looking at my phone, thinking an hour and a half. It's a good long shout. We normally have to stick to an hour, so yeah, it was nice that we were able to get it for going a little bit longer.
We needed an hour and 20 minutes when Dicko was talking and you were having a bath.
So yeah, that's our season done. Thank you to all the listeners and subscribers and everything that went with it. We've built really nice this season, and we've got loads more coming for next season. So yeah, keep an eye out on stuff coming through. If you can go to the charity do on the 1st of June, please do so.
Yeah, please do.
£10 a ticket. Go and watch these lads make absolute fools themselves.
Yeah, to get you, like I said, not just for the match. It gets you into the music after, a couple of bands on. Come and support a couple of local charities, and So get your football.
And you see Dally's white legs.
Yeah, get me.
Don't forget that, ladies.
As much as we're thanking listeners and all that as well, I want to thank you, lads, because I've enjoyed every single show and every minute that we've spent doing it. But big thank you to Stephen, behind the scenes, who does loads and loads of work.
Really weird you just call me Stephen.
No, well, yeah, it's your Sunday name. You know, I'm giving you a compliment. He does loads behind the scenes, Jack Lowe. A lot of. We wouldn't be able to do this show without you. So I want to thank you anyway. So top notch, son.
I want to thank John. The organisation he does for all the away trips we do. Incredible. Jason for putting up for our antics, what we do during the season and the places we take him to.
It's a proper loving tonight, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the BAFTAs.
Well, now you've talked as well. We need to thank your daughter for some of the things she's done for the podcast as well. So yeah.
No,
sorry,
done so.
Not
She'll be
you.
listening. Not me.
Not you, your daughter.
100%.
But yeah, thank you to you lads for coming on every week and
enjoyed it all.
Chatting absolute rubbish.
Keep an eye out on social media for when next back on air, which I think might be after the fixture release. We'll chew the fat over that, but we'll also let everybody know about the charity do and how and where you can get tickets. So please keep your eyes peeled.
Yes, and lots of giveaways to do next season and things like that. So.
Yeah, and we raised, I think, nigh on £500 for charities as well, which we're going to get together and we're going to discuss, and we'll announce that at our next show of which local charities are going to benefit from our expertise, shall we say?
Expertise, yes.
Yeah.
Our flukes. So yeah, we'll let you know where all that money's going and our new initiatives for next season. So like John Don said, all the people that go to the games by themselves and don't really have a chat with people. They just go and watch football. You know, football's a massive community, so the more people can get involved, the more people can, put a smile on their face. And yeah, what's a world without a lot of smiley faces? It's a better world to be in. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's something we'll do for the first game, home game of the season. So, and I'll leave it there. And yeah, thank you for listening and liking and subscribing. And we'll see you again over the summer. And yeah. Next season will be a cracker. I absolutely feel it. And I can't wait already. Yeah. Only 10 weeks to go. It won't be long. It'll soon be round again, don't worry. Toodaloo.
Right, well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone.
Coming home.
Up the Boro.
Cheers, up the Boro.
Thank you for listening to the 12th Man podcast. Hope to see you all again next week. Up the Boro.